scientific breakthroughs, the unveilings, spiritual revelations, the openings. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. First Water Radio, Tips and Tricks Tuesdays. Blackwater the Meta Magician. It's Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not getting confused today, just confused the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. That pig, that's fine. Hijacking the mind, aluminum bonds with intelligence. Rewind the message. Merry Christmas. 13 indigenous immigrants. State of the unison, addressing nothing. Foundations congruent, level to level. Fuck the embezzlements. Tales from the crypt, hitting blood rituals. 50 scores flying over California vacation. Flying dragons, swords and daggers, lions and tigers. Gotta get my bearings or perish. Tap into raw flesh, vampire, vegetarian. I'm a malnutrition, chemically imbalanced. Ethiopian, inhaling kush. Blue projects get pushed, mold with the bush. Standing on the middle line, no defining. Swirling dervish, in between space and time. Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse today, just diffused away. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse today, just diffused away. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Yeah, when it happens, we're gonna take over everything. Fuck your school, fuck your hospitals, fuck your churches. We busting out windows, we shoot through that shit. We holding.
Looking on the moon for a human. Soon seen high noon, typhoons, bicycle helicopters. Transfused water dilutes, acidic excuses. I'm reclusive in seclusion, non-convergence, faulty resolution. The lack of cash had me looting, shooting mask up. I'm on your fumes, pull your hands up with this bifocal smoke here.
I'm a Graham Kush toter.
Ashes smash, slam, choke you. Throw you into hollow earth, breach, birth. Come out the other side, feed birth. Midsummer night, no quench for the thirst. Desert oasis, only mirrors, false sensations. 5 heartbeats away from temptation. I leave no traces, waste material, phrases, ethereal, then serial kill you.
There's no start to this madness, ending only to begin again. Spiraling ladders, spotted small hazards, ending only to begin again. There's no start to this madness, ending only to begin again. Spiraling ladders, spotted small hazards.
Now let's go into this madness.
Yeah, I'm a little rebellious, establishments embezzle, evil church steeples, hypodermic needles, wide receivers, try to intercept, can't deceive, expect, disease insects. Crawl in the belly of the beast, feeding on moldy yeast, fried and scalded grease. I suicide door release, Al Capone, Tommy gun, street sweeping. I'm the Grim Reaper, soul keeper, call me Morpheus.
Wake you from your sleep state.
I got infinite styles, figure 8. Slither out of formation, skin withering off a weather snake. Take my medicine every day, 30 minutes before 8. While you're pulling on weights, I'm digging in crates, filling my plates, kick, push, skate. Roll out state to state while you walk, thriller eyes, hypnotized, searching for change. Acting the range while the streets go insane.
There's no start to this madness, ending only to begin again. Spotting ladders, spotted small hazards, ending only to begin again. There's no start to this madness, ending only to begin again. Spotting ladders, spotted small hazards.
Now let's go into this madness.
Right, peace, prosperity, protection, and good health. It is not another Tips and Tricks Tuesday because today is Sunday, so this is Tips and Tricks Sunday. At any rate, normally come in on Tuesday, so give thanks for Tips and Tricks Tuesday, all in all. This is First World Order Radio, even though I'm not on Blog Talk today. It's still First World Order Radio. So I'm going to give thanks to Dr. Alim and Sister Kadir, the Princess Kadir, for again laying this format for us to be able to bridge some of this information across to you guys. You know what I'm saying? You niggas and niggas, queens and kings, the wise ones, the nagas. Um, Today's topic is the five movements that you see it bouncing and jumping around. So we're going to break down some correlations that correspond to a few current events, things that have taken place in the past few days and everything. Like I said, I came in on Tuesday of last week. I think it was the 6th. Had some technical difficulties, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Everything was jumping around. I couldn't for some reason get a good transmission going through, so it just kept basically buffering. And what I thought was an hour and a half worth of what I like to call vernacular, well, elevated vernacular correspondence, or speaking, talking, and giving some of this information to you guys, gifting some of this information to you guys. Actually came out to about 3 minutes, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's what's up." But I didn't want to be too discouraged, so I took a couple of days, had a few things to take care of in between time. In the meantime, but nevertheless, we are here today. So the five movements, still jumping around in the background, as you can see. It The concept came from originally. I did a little elevated vernacular correspondence last year sometime. It was based on this, what you see, OA. It's a show that came out. It was on Netflix or something like that. But anyway, I checked the show out. It's about this lady right here. This is like just a picture, something just to hold on, let me find this background. Here we go. So we got the OA as her name, and she was dealing with a few different things as far as she had died at the age of 7, drowning in a car accident. Well, she was in a bus or whatever with school friends in Germany, and they fell off the bridge, and she died or something, but came back blind. And eventually she got a vision back about like 11 years later or something like that. But when she passed away, she went to an altered dimension, and she learned about these five movements that would open up this gate to this alternate dimension. All right, so that's basically what this is based on. But the five movements, when I heard it, I was like, five movements? That sounds like if you know anything about traditional Chinese medicine, it sounds very similar to the five movements or the five phases within um, within the practice of Qigongs and whatnot, or just the five movements in general, speaking on the five different seasons, or like we're in late summer right now, or Indian summer is what some call it. Um, so we have winter, then there's of course spring, then summer, then late summer, and then autumn. So those are the five seasons that corresponds to the five phases. But all in all, within those five phases, different um, mechanisms and dynamics that one could follow, if you will, to enhance their health, but also to stay in equilibrium or balance. You know what I'm saying? But it was just a coincidence when I heard five movements. I was like, hey, that's that's the Wu Shan right there. That's the five phases, the five elements, basically. So we have O and A. O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, as well as the Hebraic alphabet. A is the first letter. O means eye, vision, sight. A means a leader versus the symbol of an ox. If you turn it upside down, you got the horns of an ox right there. And is Osiris as well. Osiris, his one of his symbols is basically an ox. It's the first leader, power. So O and A, so the vision of power or the vision of the leader, OA. So also Alpha and Omega, right? So we have Alpha and Omega. Alpha being first, Omega being last, the first and the last. So that symbolism there relates to a cross, as well as the A and O, or the first and the last, the vision of the leader, or the vision of power. Power is potential. It's not necessarily something somebody go out. The word we use for power comes from the old Latin word potentius. Potentius means power, but potential, is something that we can access. But it has to be somewhat disciplined, a disciplinary. I call it DCD. What is that? DCD, deliberate cognitive discipline. So it's like something that we initiate deliberately with our awareness, and we discipline ourselves through different techniques and training. Basically like the 5 movements or the 6 healing sounds that we're going to go over here shortly. All right, so this is a Qigong set. Basically it's 6 postures that deal with the 5 organs, but also the different phases within that. The 5 types of Qi dominating at different times is what the statement Wu Shang Lu Xing Zi Qi means. So these 5 types of Qi that goes through these 5 phases, being like the seasons, are different processes and movements as well. So it all is interconnected spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So when we are dealing with ourself or the self, and having like the knowledge of self, basically, because when you're looking at the word self, you have self, S-E-L in there. When we're dealing with our self or self, we are corresponding and interconnected to all things in existence, as well as things that are unknown in that whole frame of thought, or that spectrum of reality that we call ultimate reality. So like the cross here, you have fire, that's the top, then you have air, water, then earth as it descends, and then when it ascends back, it is spirit. But this cross, A and O, eventually developed into what we have now as the Ankh. So the Ankh is the symbol of life, regeneration, as well as life in general. So you have that O, the Omega, the last, and you have that A there at the bottom. And if you think about it, A being masculine, that's the yang aspect, if you will, the ox, Then you have the O being feminine, that's the ovum, or the yoni, the vagina, the opening. So as you can see, the ox or the male is about to penetrate and bring about that electrical charge into the symbol, or the symbol, as they call it, within the electrical circuit symbol, as far as it's in science. So that electricity is about to go and get plugged up into the input, or the electrical source right there. Give some power going to the appliances, the 10,000 reflections of all things in reality, or the 10,000 mirage of things. So that Ankh right there, the symbol of life. And if you're doing the math on geometry, like if you study geometry is basically, it's a Kabbalistic type of mathematics within mystical Judaism. But geometry, you add up the letters with the coinciding with a number and a letter, basically. So the number 1 would be A, and then like the number 15 would be O, and that 15 is 6, so 6 plus 1 is 7, the God number, right? All right, but when you're thinking about the word life, which basically means, which Ankh means, basically, life, Life, that's Li is 12, that's 3, then Fe, that's 6 and 5, that's 11, that's 2, so 3 plus 2, we go right back to 5. So the 5 movements, or the wuxing, the 5 elements, the 5 phases, right? So I'm gonna go back periodically. I'm gonna be checking out, make sure we still online. Like I said last week, well, Tuesday, we had some issues. I ain't gonna say it was a problem, it was just issues. I don't deal with problems. We try to, in this reality, we want to fix problems. We search out for problems in order to basically initiate the change in the problem. So it's no longer a problem, is an issue that can be resolved. You know what I'm saying? So we're problem solvers. We're alchemists at our best. You know what I'm saying? And in doing that, it's only right to not put fuel to the fire, if you will, or be a fool for the fire. You know what I'm saying? Or be fuel for the fire. You know what I'm saying? Basically, when there is a issue, don't allow it to reside for too long within the physical, you know what I'm saying? Because then those issues will relate to emotional changes or energy emotion changes within your molecular structure that eventually will change your mentality, and then the spirit intact within all those different modes of exchange is going to always be there. We spoke on this before, but the emotional mishaps that we might call resentments, anger, or just holding on to different um, realities or events that are taking place can then lead us into a weary state of mind. All right, so basically, it wasn't a problem. It was an issue. Got resolved. I think we're good. So gonna continue. And peace, everyone. Once again, Hotel. Good rising. You know what I'm saying? Horus has risen out there. The sun has risen, doing the dang thing. It was a lovely day. Got a good workout in this morning. Give thanks. Keeping it moving. Just staying with it. It's a connection of all things. Sit down too long, then whatever it is that the puzzle is supposed to be, might start falling apart. So it's like, it's just, we're here to put the puzzle pieces together. And I've said it before, you got 4 chairs. You got a chair with 4 legs. You take one of them legs out, the chair gonna fall apart. The chair gonna fall eventually, you know what I'm saying? You try to balance it for as long as you want to. That's good exercise. But basically, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, all those need to be worked on. You know what I'm saying? It's a WIP, work in progress, but it is our duty, one individual, to do those things for their self, you know what I'm saying, to continue whatever it is in their process of their own oversoul as it goes on in this transitioning. You know what I'm saying? We have been duped a little bit. Well, actually a lot, more than a little bit, less than a lot. I love you, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? It's something going on that has put us in a state of forgetfulness. So this life right here, Ankh, you have Libra, and that's the balance, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with October. Then you have the symbol Nitiru, divine, the divine spirit. And when we're dealing with our supernatural abilities, Nitiru, divine, where we get the word nature from, or natural, is wise to be more interconnected to and infuse, not refuse and be confused by what nature is. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at what's going on out here in this simulated reality, this alternate dimension that we are participating with, you can see the nature is now correcting itself. It may look funny, you know what I'm saying, horrific, fearful, because it is a fear-based um, type of suspenseful, surprising element that is always keeping us jarred and in the box. And then when we try to attempt to get out the box, something else pop off. But we have to understand what is taking place. And we got the omega symbol here, you know what I'm saying, where we just talking about that. The first closed circuit was, of course, the triangle. But you can see this open circuit is dealing with how life is placed in there by the lower aspects of male or whatever. I said, closed circuit triangle, dealing with the triune self, you know what I'm saying, the knower, the thinker, and the doer. The knower being the mind, the all, the thinker being the emotional, the energy and motion as it flows into the doer, the physical aspect, the triune self. So Nitiru, nature, is doing some things right now. That's the divine, Nitiru. That's the principles and forces, you know what I'm saying, within the ultimate reality that is time, space, you know what I'm saying, the movement. You know what I mean? We look at time like it's, 24 hours and all that, 60 seconds, 60 minutes and everything. Really, time, space is movement, is dark energy, so as dark energy is speeding up, we are now having an exchange of energies that are basically, like I said, correcting some of the mishaps or some of the issues that have been perpetrated by said individuals to keep the first order beings on lockdown. We are the first order beings. Melanated brothers and sisters are the first order beings. Second order beings are what we call melanoid. You know what I'm saying, like melanin, but not necessarily melanated. You know what I'm saying. So they, or those individuated duals, have completely have placed obstructions up to blindside us in our transition to gain access to our ultimate self, our true self, our higher intelligence. So what we're here to do is bridge that information back towards us so that it won't be overlooked. Like I said, blindsided. If things happen right as I know, sometimes we might not even notice it because other things are taking over our psychology and our senses. You know what I'm saying? What are you looking at, the lady in the red dress, or were you paying attention to Morpheus as he was bringing the information to the neocortex? You know what I'm saying? The Morpheus would be representative of the base. The top of the spine right there, where the medulla oblongata is located in the back, and the medulla oblongata, being the mouth of God, also is where we access our Akashic records. So this is past, present, future. And if we're paying attention to all these central gratifying movements that are not really necessarily imperative to our overcoming and becoming, then what may take place is we've been blindsided and we forget what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? So the Ankh right here represents the creation of human life. Again, life, that's 5. So to go back to the 5 movements, you know what I'm saying? Not in relation, in relation to the 5 senses, but the 5 senses are also known as the 5 thieves. So the 5 senses of hearing, seeing, smelling, touching, and tasting can lead us astray because we get so caught up on what it tastes like, what it looked like, what it smelled like, what it feel like, you know what I'm saying? And not seeing the reality of how it flowed in from an unknown and had no sensual representation or representation until it flowed into the physical body, which is only basically molded together through the portal of the spirit. And where our soul comes into be in that exchange of the Bindu dot, if you will, or the soft spot behind our head right there, where that point, that dot, comes in circle, circle, dot, dot, dot. Now I got my cool T shot, right? So that cool T, the darkness, like ANKH, K, or Ku actually. So Ankh, Noon, Ke, or Kehet, and He, Hehet, Noon, Noonet, and Ankh, Ankhet. Those are when you break down the meanings or the actual words within the Ankh, you have again Amun, Amin, Aminet, Noon, Noonet, Ke, Kehet, and He, Hehet. Amin meaning hidden, Noon meaning primeval waters, Ke meaning darkness, and He meaning infinite. So the infinite, dark, hidden waters. Talking about melanin or life, dark energy, dark matter. Again, saying that dark energy is sped up and is moving faster at a higher rate now than it was, say, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's expanding. That's what dark energy does, expands, and it moves the dark matter into the 10% or whatnot of physical reality. So more things are being created or formed inside of what we would call ultimate reality than it was 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's at a higher rate. So the things that are being created are technologically a bit more advanced, and also more dealing with the economy or the resources within the Earth's structure, as well as other um, solar deities or whatnot. But these elementals are becoming more and more available, but also people who would rather use this information or that light are taking advantage of the resources and utilizing it for their own purposes. But there's a representation right here of life. You got the uterus, the womb of life. Then we have sunset and sunrise, the two equal sides here, left and right. The fallopian tubes as they go up, and then the vaginal canal and the port, which is the portal of life. All right, so the uterus is the womb of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's going into this black hole, life, light, electricity, the planets and stars, or whatever the 10,000 Mirides is going into this portal right here, the vortex, into the dark space or the dark womb of the mother right here. You know what I'm saying? So that outer space is what they talk about, or that, you know what I mean? But that's basically melanin, you know what I'm saying? Melanin, again, mela, meaning darkness. Anin is a Sumerian word, or nin is a Sumerian word for lady or queen. So the dark queen, the dark mother, mela, nin, right? Nitiziru, you know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, I'm going to go into something I wrote a couple of days ago. I read this last on the session. Didn't get in there like to talk about, but we still going to keep it moving, and I'm gonna read it once again. So it goes like this. Matter of fact, hold up. All right. So the ancestors, Ankh stars, or in essence, the genetic coding has granted us with answers to wavering questions of complexity that to some extent may relieve us of the uncertainties that weigh us down, and that of an unfinished puzzle, not in the separating of pieces to bring a more complex scene of chaos. All persons, places, things, and events exist in the now through function and process via intelligence. And all in all are united by way of this untangible energy, this undifferentiated energy matter that flows in and out every physical structure by way of vibration. This is the music of life, the frequency of connectivity that has no beginning or end. This is me, this is you, this is us, the united feel of nothing, yet everything, the infinitude of all. the reason I wanted to put that out there right there to talk to you with, or to pretty much build on what has taken place. It was last week, August 3rd, Saturday, Sunday. At any rate, it was the event that popped off over there at El Paso, Texas, right? And another one on the next morning or the same day, basically, if I'm not mistaken, in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, where these guys went in as active shooters and massacred, or is the word they've been using, saying murdered, killed, or whatnot, um, innocent lives, innocent people. We have to recall that it ain't always what it seems. It ain't always what it look like. You know what I'm saying? We use these five senses haphazardly sometimes when they say use more of what we got two of, less what we got one of. You know what I'm saying? So using the eyes properly. Remember, hearing is believing, seeing is knowing. You know what I'm saying? And when we hear things and see things, we may believe what it is, we may know what it is, but experiencing that actual event is becoming. And then when we can inhale, if you will, and exhale properly in heaven, you know what I'm saying, we'll bring in the light of the intelligence and then exhale it to where it has more of a definitive that is dealing with truth in our experience. Then in that experiencing, we are being who we are naturally, and it's not being something that's forced on us through media or the social structure. You know what I'm saying? But basically, that day, August 3rd, you know what I'm saying, we have to recall that we are dealing with a group of individuals out here that have I'm gonna go to, where is it at? That have interests at hand that are pertaining to control. So they have placed different, or they activate different means of this control through the ritual. So what we're looking at right here are dates that correspond to these here are the Sabbaths within Wicca or Wiccan. You know, Wicca is basically is the witch and warlock religion. You know, or witch and wizard rather religion, where they practice different activities, just like any other religion. You know, religion is based on information. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the three main religions: Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. They all have three different books: Quran, the Torah, and whatnot, and the Bible. And then they have, that's the information, but then they have rituals within that, which is observances that's dealing with rites. You know what I'm saying? You know, so these rituals, these physical observances like Christmas, Ramadan in Islam, and Hanukkah, something like that. These are the observances. Then you have metaphysical representations that correspond to or connect those rituals and the information with astrological events or cosmological events, things that's taking place in the cosmos. All right, so in cosmogony and cosmology, that's what we do. We interconnect physical activities on a planetary level through information. It may be in riddle form or allegorical or metaphor, like the four, we got the Ancient of Days sitting around the four beasts or whatnot, and then we got seven candles and all this. All this is relating to different anomalies and different aspects of solar deities or information of cosmic principles and precepts that correlate to physical activities as well as the physical individuated through itself, hence astrological signs as well as dealing with the horoscopes, horoscope. So the sun gives us vision or light, and as that takes place, that's that AO again, Horus A or Osua, the first. So today's Sunday, so it's Horus Day or whatnot, but we got the vision of the leader, Horus or the sun. But when that light comes in, it's different things that's taking place. And of course, since we are interconnected by way of being human or human, so human who meaning the creative will, men meaning basically creation or how life cycles, into what we have today. So the creative life or the creative will of life or the creative utterance, Yahshua, Dr. Alim elaborates on that very well, or Hachu, even with the sounds that we're about to do, one of them is shoo, as well as ha, that means life, but in Arabic, ha or hey, but basically it's haye, so we were looking at this right here. We have the Sabbaths, these four different dates in relation to the Wiccan calendar. If you notice right there, we got Samin, that's 31st October to 2nd November. That relates to Hallows Eve. Imbolc, 1st and through the 2nd of February. That's Candlemas, that's why them candles right there. Asteria, that's Easter. Beltane, 1st of May, that's May Day, the 1st of May. Midsummer, summer solstice. And then we have Laganasta or Lammas Day. That's the 1st and 2nd of August. So that is the day, August 3rd is actually one of the days of observance within those holidays or satanic holidays, if you will. It's called the Satanic Rebels. It's a sexual observance or ritual, and it relates to it basically what they do is they have some type of sexual, that what you call it, all eyes open up. I don't know, this crazy movie with Tom Cruise back in the day, but it's dealing with sexual type things, satanic rebels, from the 7th to the 2nd, and it's dealing with females. And if you recall, we got that dude Bernstein, who so-called was hung himself yesterday. You know that he ain't hung himself. Somebody went in there, paid the form and something, and the CEO, and they left the door unlocked, and somebody went in there, tied him up, and they assassinated him. Of course, they assassinated his character first, even though he was caught up in that ring, whatever, the Pizzagate and all that, whatever it is. His media, in nature as well. So these maniac European devils in America are being fleshed out, by the way of nature's concern. Nature has a funny way of correcting itself again, All right. So, but we go up here to, and we're still dealing with this with November. I mean, not November. August. So August 1st is Lammas Day. It's one of the Sabbaths again, but it's a blood ritual. That's the type of ritual that is. August 3rd is a sexual ritual. But that they don't necessarily have to fall on the date, that because we're dealing with space time here again, and we're also dealing with the Gregorian calendar versus the sidereal calendar that's based on Subdet or Sirius. And that's the sidereal calendar is the most accurate calendar. This tropical calendar that we got going on is mixed up and displaced a little bit due to what happened a few hundred years ago with Pope Gregory and all that. Employing who was Dionysus to try to figure out how to fix the calendar of time. And then the employment of uh, what is it, July and August, or Julius and Augustus, talking about Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, changing those months and then adding on, because Deca means 10, but it's the 12th month, so adding on those two, and then moving around February to where it's 28, and in the way they did it sort of like it did actually take time away and days away. I think it was like 4 days. It took 10 days away, and people had to actually change their whole format of living and forced to do this. This was a few hundred years ago, but it also changed a few other things. So these dates aren't going to be right and exact, like with the blood ritual. Even though August 1st, Lammas Day that day. It took place on August 3rd, but you know what I'm saying. Dark energy is moving a little bit different now, so nature has a funny way of correcting itself again. All right, but that's an animal and or human sacrifice at any age, male or female. So that's Lammas Day, and it also correlates to August 3rd, the day that actually took place. All right, so again, hearing this is believing, seeing is knowing, experiencing is becoming. When we're talking about these dates, these holidays, holy days, and everything, you got to recall what we are looking at. And that what I was giving you the information about is Satanic holidays. You know what I'm saying? But we all know that Satan is not what is depicted in the storyline of like the biblical representation or any type of religion that's based on that. Like Roman Catholic or whatever. Shaitan. So we talking about dark sun or the dark light. Basically, an meaning sun. All right, and shat. Or what I'm saying, shat mean darkness. So we're talking about dark energy, dark movement, or dark matter as it flows in. So that dark energy, dark movement is we're all connected to. That's that Wu Xing again, the 5 elements, the 5 phases, because those 5 elements and 5 phases are pertaining to the 5 processes within the 5 movements of nature as well, time, space. You know what I'm saying? So, autumn, winter, spring, summer, late summer. All right, and they all have organ systems that are in particular, that correspond to them as well. All right, so we was looking at that. That's Laganasta or Lammas Day. So that's the 1st, 2nd of August. All right, that ritual took place. So don't get blindsided and thinking it's some what is it, white supremacists, social path going out there. It's a program. It's an altar. If y'all dealing with, if you know anything about that MK Ultra, mind control Ultra, it's altars out there. Remember Britney Spears shaving her hair? That's just from the point of view of Hollywood. Now out here in the reality that we deal with is mad altars. You know what I'm saying? Everyday altars. You might not even notice them because they doing it every day, but they taking these prescription medicines, eating this GMO food, all these different type of elements can and will basically alter again our psychological input. Therefore, the psychological output, what we put out, will be it could be hindrance and very horrendous. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It can take us from who we are and we start doing some old crazy junk outside of ourselves. You know what I mean? So this altar, whoever, I can't even remember the names, you know what I'm saying? They doing some stuff where they don't want to put the names out there now, but you understand why, because if we know the names, we can define them by who they are as far as what the word is. But these names can be of importance, and they don't want us to glorify them. That's what the media is saying. We don't glorify these people, by continuously uttering the name. There's a lot of power in words. So, like they say, the president is fueling these guys by what he speaks. I say president, but Donald Trump or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I've been looking at a little bit too much TV the last couple of days. But the dude in the seat of office that we call president is they say he's actually fueling some of this due to his speech, his terminology, and his dialogue to people out there, which is true. It's power in words, you know what I'm saying? And go back to entertainment, entrainment, or in training. One of the things we were speaking on, I spoke on, was how our psychological format can be altered by way of vibration and frequency. And he, or the individual way to do self that knows the vibration, can alter the mind's perception of those other individuals around, or control nature, basically. And that's the seven principles, the principle of vibration within the Hermetic principles. So if a person knows how to change and alter our psychological or brain waves, basically, like with the basically, that's one way of us personally going inside of ourselves and initiating what I call becoming the alchemist, or inner alchemy, you know what I mean, by way of chanting, you know what I'm saying, becoming your God here, to bringing that light up, you know what I'm saying, through the spectrum of our seven chakras and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, those spinning wheels, or fire wheels. So, but these sounds or these vibrations, words, like you guys listening to me or any other person that may be speaking to your baby, or you listening to yourself, you know what I mean? These vibrations, if repeated over and over, eventually going to sink in. One thing about brainwashing is that's powerful. The most powerful way to brainwash a person is through repetition. And then the individual way that becomes brain stamped. Just like teaching a dog. Like I said before, you teach a dog, and I did it to my dogs, you know what I'm saying? I taught the dog, a pit bull, how to sit by saying jump. And jump was sit. So whenever I said sit, the dog would jump. And when I told the dog to jump, the dog would sit. I just did that to see how Bronchi and Wernicke, you know what I'm saying, or that left brain was only subjectively controlled by the sound and vibration. It didn't matter what we thought the word defined. It's just what we said it to be as far as the action. So if I told the dog to sit, it would jump because I would raise my hand up with a treat. And if I told the dog to jump, it would sit because I would lower my hand and put my hand on his head, and that's what it learned by its physical activity. So we out here and we get these key words and whatnot. It might be a positive word to someone else, but like nigga, you know what I'm saying? We say nigga, when we was growing up, we thought it was something negative, you know what I'm saying? We negated it, oh no, they banning the word nigga. But then when we became informed and became knowledgeable about what these words mean, like nigga or nigga, it means something powerful, wise, you know what I'm saying? It means king and queen. It means God, goddess. So the transfiguration in between the vibration and the frequency can delay the progress of the individuated dual self to have or to achieve and ascend some of the physical attributes that have locked us down in order to become its true self, or its higher intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Allowing the higher intelligence to lock in and be more prevalent in one's life. So this vibration and frequency, the more we listen to nonsense, the more nonsense is going to manifest in our life, and that's what we're going to be about in that cycle of life, Life. You know what I'm saying? The five movements, the five senses, the five thieves that can rob us of our potential, our power. You know what I mean? So, get off this picture right here for a minute. So when we again are listening to the news, watching the news or whatever, always take a breath to experience it within the meditation or whatnot, and then experience it by being inside of that. Go to that situation, more than just being at Walmart. So, and I was laughing about it the other day because I go to Walmart, like two people in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, they Walmart just shut it down. Like, ain't nobody going, everybody looking at everybody. Like, is he the next active shooter? I mean, live your life. You know what I'm saying? You got to die in order to live. You know what I'm saying? That's the old saying. If we walk around shook every day, you know, we shook ones and all that, it ain't gonna be no fun. There ain't no fun in that. Ain't no fun in the fear. You know what I mean? Face everything and relax through all these, you know, false experiences appearing real. Face everything and relax through the fear. You know what I'm saying? Bringing the courage. Remember, fear is dealing with the kidneys. So that's holding that water. So we holding that water, walking around, we ain't allowing the water to go through the body to function the way it should be. Remember, we are 80% water, 20% other. So we need to stay alkalized. But if I'm fearing all the time and I'm going into that uh, sympathetic nervous system and go to the fight or flight, and I'm like, no, 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 no. That, you know, that fight or flight always on no. It ain't on go. You know what I mean? If we're not relaxed, it's on go because it's active mode. But basically, what I mean is the reptilian brain or the R complex is pertaining to more interconnected with the sympathetic nervous system or movement, and, you know what I'm saying, and activity, the serotonin. But if it's especially if it's a disbalance or unbalance, a disharmony within those, um, that the connection of sympathetic and parasympathetic, then where to take place is depression, anxiety, stress, you know what I mean? Because we're producing too much of those hormones like dopamine to where we can't access it properly, and then we in mental health facilities trying to get medicine, or we're doing excessive amount of drugs, you know what I'm saying, trying to relieve these issues, forget things, pretty much to space out and to leave a void or a blank spot between the reality that we're participating with in our true self. You know what I'm saying? That blockage can lead to, or that gap can lead to a piggyback effect where these individuated duels that know the math go and dump information inside them gaps and causes that those rituals to take place. You know what I mean? Or these type of events right here. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe me. You know what I'm saying? Believing is, again, just hearing. Do the math, study, see it for yourself, then go into meditations and allow the ancestors, you know, access the Ankh star and get the answer. The Ankh star being your cellular structure, your DNA, that nano diamond, you know, that Ankh star, that life star. Access that, or that Ankh Seba, and see what's really going on within your own curriculum of life and your journey. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you from my perspective, but this is from my perspective, you know what I mean? And it might not be the truth that you uh, obtain within yours, but when I was looking at it, I just put two and two together, you know, and then the math just pop out like that. You know, I give thanks to the ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Because I deal with them and not, you know, peace, prosperity, protection, and good health, and ultimately the greater good of all, you know. So 5 movements, Qigong. These are the benefits of Qigong right here. Um, some of the oh shit. Okay. Oh, all right, there it goes. All right. Some of the benefits are it loosens your muscles, right? So that's good for the movement of the energy in your body properly to get to the cellular structure by way of the breath and the heart, or the lungs and the heart. It builds power. Not talking about external strength like power, but power, energy for movement of those uh, organs properly to regain or regenerate organs. You know, powers the potential. It strengthens the organs again, building power. Slows respiration. You know, the slower the respiration, the less sporadic the mind will be able to access thoughts or gain your own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Are you thinking your thoughts, or your thoughts thinking you? right? So most of the thoughts that we have, of course, are based on our participation with the physical or the external reality. But it helps with slowing down respiration so we can access our own thoughts or get more in tune to that Akashic record. Strengthens nerves, builds bone density, you know what I'm saying? So strengthen nerves helps with activity with reactions and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Basically physical reactions as well as mental and emotional reactions. Builds bone density. So, the bone density is very important as we get older. We want to have strong bones. I fell last week and bruised my tailbone with skateboarding. Really went skateboarding, just goofing off with someone in the middle of the street at work, and wasn't paying attention. I ain't skated in about 6 months to a year, really. And I decided to do a trick, it was like one of my dial-ins, and I didn't dial in the right number, I guess, because I ended up flying in the air with, like, look, no hands. Landed, first point of contact was my ass bone. You know what I'm saying? My psoas was hurting. My psoas muscle was hurting. But I landed on that and bruised my bone, and, dealing with, I'm a man of my age, you know what I'm saying? So I practice Qigong routinely, ritualistically. And I went to the chiropractor the next day just to make sure, and he told me, yes, it's a bruised bone. You don't have anything going on with your back. It was hurting, you know what I mean? Especially these bruises. I can see the bruise on the actual bone. I mean, my gluteus maximus, you know what I'm saying? But that healed up, and he said that the bone probably take about a week and a half or two. And I'm a lot better. Like I said, I worked out today. I've been working out just to, keep the movement going. But yeah, I give thanks for learning Qigongs and Tai Chi, but it builds bone density. It prevents joint injury, so no joint problems and stuff like that. Strengthens ligaments, the muscles and tendons healed within 2-3 days from from where it was bruised. Destroys free radicals. So like if you use in the microwave or you are introduced to free radicals by way of consumption of certain food items like processed foods, or if it's inside of the pesticides, insecticides, radiation, herbicides that are in produce, then it destroys free radicals. Deep breathing, parasympathetic nervous system, melatonin. Melatonin is produced by way of the parasympathetic nervous system and the pineal gland. So when that's activated, of course, melatonin is a free radical scavenger as well as an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory. So you're getting the best of all worlds when you're deep breathing and doing Qigongs. Increases injury recovery. Like I said, 2-3 days normally. Some people fall on that, but then the doctor told me, he's like, should most people come in here with a bruised tailbone, they can't even lift their legs like you're doing right now, because he had to test and see what was going on. He felt it. He knew it was an issue, not really a problem, again. But yeah, prevents joint injury, strengthens ligaments, destroys free radicals, increases injury recovery, decreases stress. You know what I'm saying? It really helps with stress levels. My heart, what is called blood pressure went up when I first started working. It was like, for a minute, it was like 150, not 150, it was 130, 150, in between 130 to 50 on the top, and 90 and 100 on the bottom. And I was like, what the hell? I wasn't even saying nothing. Finally, I told my mom, she said, oh, you need some blood pressure pills. I'm like, what's going on? We got the same diet, same routine. What's changed? I was working. So I started doing more Qigong. I actually took the pill for 3-4 months. They put me on the pill to see, and it got regulated. And then when May came, that's when it was done with, and I decided to stop. And I just continued my regimen and get thanks. I'm not working as much because I was working more than normal. Basically, it was like a full-time thing. I was working every week, and I started out just working twice, well, like 8 days a month, 11 days off, 4 days on, 11 days off, 4 days on. And I got back into that regimen now. I go back to work today at 7 o'clock, but I have 11 days off after that to where I can take care of myself and as well as get back into my practices, day-to-day practices. I get thanks for that because, it ain't offered to everyone like that, but the ancestors saw a way You know what I'm saying? To allow that, because I do see how work can be very stressful, and work related stress can lead to issues, but participating in Qigongs and practicing these different type of modalities can deep conscious breathing, deep diaphragmatic breathing can resolve, or it can help one with those said issues. Balance his emotions, just the same thing as stress, basically energy and motion. Stress, sit and rest, or set and ras, darkness rising. So is the energy and motion going up, the darkness or whatever of life, physical life, the base chakra going up and trying to encapsulate um, the true essence of self, basically trying to take over. But deep breathing and allowing the breath to go down into the diaphragm and then generating energy within the organ system, which we're gonna go over in the future. Five movements, six healing sounds. Improves circulation, prevents muscular spasms, reduces pain. All right, that's what we're gonna be talking about. The gate control theory, where pain is reduced and alleviated if one practices it's on a day to day. I'm living proof. I've done it to myself as well as others. My cousin hurt his hand yesterday. I seen him. He hurt his hand about 2-3 days ago. I did a like 30-second, real abbreviated Reiki session on his hand. He walked out moving his hand again. He couldn't move his fingers properly in his hand and wrist. He walked out with the proper movements in his hand. He was like, wow, that you work fast, don't you? I wasn't even prepared for it. I was just like, I'm going out the door. It's about 11 o'clock p.m. I'm about to go home and go to bed. And he was like, man, oh yeah, can you do something on my hand real quick? Bam, 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 choke right. And he was like, "Oh wow, you work fast." So, shit, less thought, non-thought. Don't put too much into it. Less is more. So energy right there. But all in all, give thanks. You know what I mean? Learning these things like that by way of Dr. Ali. What I'm saying? Give thanks to the brothers and sisters for putting that out there, that putting that effort. That time and the effort, that gung fu. What I'm saying? Out there. The gun, basically, time and effort. All right, so lowers heart rate, normalizes EKG, lowers blood pressure. We're just speaking on that, on those three different things. Improves asthma as well as relieves bronchitis. So the deeper we breathe into the lungs, because we only use 1 liter of our potential in our lung capacity. Basically, that's the average of what we do as far as humans, as far as breathing in our lungs. 1 liter out of 7 liters, we're only using 1/7 of that potential. Relieves migraines, decreases stroke risk. Okay, so you got a headache, deep breathing, Qigong. I've done that too, you know what I'm saying? Improves skin elasticity. So it helps with keeping the skin youthful, especially on a day to day. So, I mean, not to brag or boast, but it's me. Hello. But see, I'm a man of my age and I meditate quite often. I also have a good holistic diet. So I go in the store. I'm up in Fayetteville the other day. And I go in the store over there and it's 2 women in the back. They cash register clerks or whatever. The lady said, she looked at me, she like, how old are you? I'm like, damn, that's a odd question to be asking me. I just walked right up to the cash register to pay for my gas and everything. I'm like, okay, I said, well, why you ask? And she said, well, you have gray in your beard and everything, but your face, your face looks real young and vibrant. I was like, oh, well, thank you. And I told her my age. She said, wow, well, you could pass about 25, 28. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take that and run with it. I appreciate that. So she was like, yeah, your skin is. And then me and the other lady got to a conversation. She may have been about 24. And she asked me, what was I doing? I said, what I'm not doing. But basically, I told her I was a vegan. And, I just corrected a few things in the past 10 years that have helped with regeneration of cells. I ain't want to get too overhead with it, but basically, I said, the cell is 80% water, 20% others. So if I'm dealing with a lot of protein on a day to day, then I'm gonna burn out. You know what I'm saying? As far as cellular regeneration, you want to alkalize, and that's less cooked food. You know, there's a certain time of that cycle, there's a certain time of those 5 processes, those 5 movements, like in winter. When it's cold outside, yeah, we may need to put more cooked food into the body, but when it's hot outside, like in summer, late summer, spring, when it's warmer, then we need to start alkalizing more. So those are 3 different phases of those 5 movements that we need to be alkalizing much more and regenerating or seeing the fruition and creating this reality. You know what I'm saying? The physical body is a part of the ultimate reality. It is the portal. It's the dark hole. The you know what I'm saying? This thing we got going on right here, this higher intelligence is within this portal, you know what I'm saying? That Ankh life, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking at the Ankh, you know, you got the 2 arms circled, it could also represent human or whatever, the creative will of life or the creative utterance of life, Ankh, you know what I'm saying? Hu, ha, he. But when we get confused about it, some things, you know what I'm saying, may again displace us and put us in weary or in some type of dilemma mentally, because the mind is interconnected to spirit, but when the mind and the emotions are participating with the physical reality in more of a mundane and controlling aspect, because that's what they want us to be, is controlled again, then other things may take place, you know what I'm saying? So that forgetfulness may take place. And, just continuing inside of that mode of forgetfulness, it causes a cycle of repetition, but brain staining. From brainwashing to brain staining, where we just believe whatever it is thrown at us, and hearing is believing, seeing is knowing, but experiencing. We had to experience. I wouldn't know how to ride a skateboard if I ain't never got on. I wouldn't know how to ride a bike. I wouldn't know how to walk if I never got up and walked. Some of us ain't even know how to walk now because we sitting down all day playing video games, or on inside this box, walking around. If I did know how to walk, this is how I walk now. So 10 years from now, our children gonna come out like this. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna come out the womb walking. They got two cell phones, a cell phone, and their iPod, a pad, or whatever, and whatever, their laptop. Yeah. This is gonna be the new wave. Hey, wave! Somebody's waving at me. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, forget things. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, dark energy is moving much faster now, so we're getting a lot of advancements. But we gotta remember what dark energy is. It's spiritual somewhat. It's unseen. It's intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with intelligence, that's the interconnection. So we are the most advanced technological device on the planet Earth. This thing right here. This right here. You know what I'm saying? This is how we interface with all things in individuals for a time and a half. This right here. We ain't need nothing like this, no cell phone. We ain't need one of these. We didn't need an interface like a computer. We would speak to each other from the portal of our mind. You know what I'm saying? And, we noticed that by how 3,500, 6,000 years ago, all these different interconnections on a planetary level were bridged, you know what I'm saying, as far as corresponding. You had Kemet, China, you had India, you had the Olmec or Mesoamerica, Mesopotamia, within the Babylonian, Sumerian, what was the word, paradigm. But then you go over here to, Mesoamerica and inside of America, whatever, in South America, all these different places all had correspondences at the same time. So how that happened? So the information, we were speaking to each other, Atlantis, you know what I'm saying? All these different moves, we were all interconnected by way of mind, body, and spirit, you know what I mean? Through energy and motion. All right. So our emotions are being played with. Fear, you know what I'm saying? Fear, 2 emotions, love and fear. Our emotions are being played with. That's the kidney energy again. So that water, let's get back to this right here. So Decreases stroke risk, improves skin elasticity, improves posture. So our posture get corrected, the alignment of the spine. That you know what I'm saying is very important in movement as well as in keeping the organ system. Because again, the spine is connected to the organ. The central nervous system is connected to all organs. Improves flexibility, increases balance, improves memory, aids in digestion, and improves kidney function. All right, so increases balance, you move in certain different type of ways, moving left and right, is using both sides of the body, both sides of the brain, improves memory, deep breathing, as well as the movements, allows you to place that same type of modality of learning by improving, when speaking on improving memory, by moving in certain patterns and submitting those to memory and deep breathing at the same time will allow you to use that same precept or the same function with other things. You know, it's all the same anyway. That's why I used to tell my son when he was in school, I was like, it's all the same. You know, don't look at this class like it's different because you in the sixth grade now and it was different in the fifth. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Go get it. You know what I'm saying? Get up and go get it. No matter what it is, be diligent and be peace. Right. So those are benefits of Qigong. As we speaking, it strengthens the tendons and whatnot. I'm going to read this right here. Our body is composed of two major parts. The first part is a physical body. The second is the energy supply which our body needs to function. The body is somewhat like a factory, whereas the many organs that are located within the body act as machines that processes raw materials into finished products. Some of the raw materials brought into the factory are used to create energy, for which the raw materials are then converted into the finished product. The raw material for your body is food and air, and the finished product is life. All right, so food and air are the fuel or power supply, and their quality affects the body in its completeness. As the organs, nerves, blood, and even every tiny cell are like separate machines with their own unique functions, just like an electric motor in our home appliances. If there is a current, then the appliance, if there isn't a current, then the appliance doesn't work. So in Chinese medical society, the perception is that qi and blood are closely related. The concept behind the saying is where qi goes, blood follows. Is that qi provides energy for the blood cells to keep them alive. It is thought that blood is able to store qi, and in essence, it assists in transporting air qi to every cell. That's every cell of the body. So qi is the energy needed to keep them alive and functioning. So again, qi is energy, spirit, you know what I'm saying? It's the breath. You know, qigong means basically to skill the breath, or the energy and skill developed over time. Because gong means time and effort. Qi means energy or breath. So the energy by way of the breath that is skilled and developed over time. It doesn't happen overnight. The more one does these things, you know, the better and also the more adaptable one can become as far as in the process of speed and rate of healing or of accessing certain energy throughout the day. Emotional dilemmas that may come up can be resolved within, because we're going to be problem solvers, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to see it as issues or stressful. We're going to look, this is what's going on. Bam, okay, fix that. You know, all the different things we're just speaking on, flexibility, you know what I'm saying? All these things will be enhanced. You know what I mean? So Qigong, to skill or energy, that skills and energy um, energy is and scaling energy and developing that develops over time, or energy and skills developed over time. That's some notes that I had wrote a few years ago. I'm not going to read all the rest. I'm going to go into these notes right here. These notes, yeah, what is it? 1 o'clock when we start. How long? I got to get into the other part in a little second here. Keeping it moving. Peace, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Time, you know what I'm saying? Being patient with me. So we know about purportedly yoga originated from India and Qigong originated in China. Yoga and Qigong did not originally was not originally birthed in those particular geographical points. It was out of Africa basically. What spot, you can't really just say what spot in Africa, even China and India is part of Africa, you ask me. But basically yoga, Semitwai, and Qigong or Matura, both originated in areas of Africa, and that is evidenced by the stills on the walls in the halls of the pyramids, if you will. All right. So, interestingly enough, though, yoga and Qigong, so if you will, emphasize 3 common components in their fundamental practices. One, is stretching of the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and as well as go back to this slide here. When stretching the muscles, tendons, and ligaments, when thousands of proprioceptive receptors, which initiate the gate concept theory of neurological control of pain perception, are stimulated. B, controlled breathing, which harmonizes the somatic and autonomic systems of neurological activities. All right. Somatic meaning like controlled activities, movement of the body. Autonomic means uncontrolled or automatic, like breathing and heartbeat. And then C, which is the wonderful outcome, basically, in this equation of controlled breathing and stretching, is a very tranquil, serene type of mentality or meditation, moving meditation. So you have the stretching of your muscles connected with controlled breathing that stimulates the outcome of meditation. It also stimulates the control of pain perception, as well as harmonizes the somatic and automatic nervous system. So the current concept of health is not only a state of complete physical health, it also includes the mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional well-being, and not merely an absence of disease. So with the increasing difficulties of modern society, the stress and pressure encountered by the individual way to do itself, living in comfortable communities could be expected. It's high stress in these comfortable communities, even though they're in suburbia or high rises or something, that is still stress. In extreme situations, total loss of ability to social adaptation could result in institutionalization. Institutionalization. There you go. in asylum-related facilities. For the less severely affected, depression and mental stress may significantly affect the activities of day-to-day living of the individual dual self. The rising occurrence of psychiatric disorders as a disease appears mandatory. Likewise, apparently, normal working individuals may actually suffer from periodical depression in response to shifting work and emotional pressure. Psychiatrists and general practitioners are encountering more and more such patients. These group of people under mental stress, forgive me, here we go. These group of people under mental stress may sadly develop into varying degrees of anxiety disorders and depression, or may eventually turn psychiatric. Others who are either capable of self-care or enjoy good family support can manage to maintain a reasonably balanced mental stability. The ability to maintain such stability is often the result of special efforts ranging from persistence on bodily exercises, social activities, and unique lifestyles. So Qigong, Tai Chi, exercise in general, you know what I'm saying, going to the gym, running, they call it the exercise high, the runner's high. You're producing certain hormones that help us feel good, you know, and it helps release stress or relieve stress. Unique lifestyles, not being around certain people that's going to cause us to have stress. You know what I'm saying? If we are, or we do have to be around and learn to deep breathe within that said environment, so we can, you know, calm down and not react to the events that's taking place within that structure of reality, like with what's going on the media and everything. Not necessary for us to react in the same manner. In this discussion, we're going to explore the value of bodily exercises that are consistent with yoga and Qigong or Semi-Twai and Mantra. They require persistent self-practices through which the individual dual self will gradually reach a state of physical and mental stability, elevating to a higher level of mental serenity or mindfulness, which might carry the individual away from these extreme stresses being experienced from the external reality. So yoga, Semi-Twai, and Qigong, Mantra from China or India, Africa, are right now two of the most popular systems of self-performed bodily exercises that seem to be helping to maintain a healthy state of body and mind, and interconnecting by way of yoga. You know, yoga means to yoke the spirit and the body together. So some experts in yoga or Qigong usually belong to special groups of practitioners, and they tend to believe that their unique practices are the best way to go, and they guarantee their outcomes through that one practice. But if one takes a logical point of view and analyzes the outline of the systems of practice and identifies the vital components of that, and which resides within that practice, it will see that they all correlate. Even though they're different groups, they all correlate and they have similarities. You know what I'm saying? Just like with religious systems, you know what I'm saying? They all correlate through the similarities, but you know, everybody fighting over which one is right. You know what I mean? So with this intention in mind, we could identify the basic common elements of the physical activities of a yoga or semi-twai, and then in doing so, the special physical postures and the stretching exercises, correlate those with the ways of breathing, and then develop deep relaxation, which develops into meditation. And that's with any yoga practice, qigong practice. Just when I walk today, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing qigong moves while I'm walking. So I interconnect the deep breathing and the movements inside of the walk. So I got on, a weight jacket and wrist weights and everything, leg weights. I'm walking while doing Qigong, holding different postures while I'm going through the path, you know what I mean? The way, the Tao. So looking at Qigong's special stretching physical activities with some special postures are also, while some special postures are adopted, the special ways of breathing are equally stressed, which again lead to deep relaxation and meditation. Using modern psychological knowledge to intellectualize the components of activity of both yoga or semi-twai and qigong mantra, one could link these activities to stimuli related to unique neurophysiological pathways that are capable of bringing about a harmonious state between the somatic and autonomic components of the neurological system. It's the reason I put the vagus nerve up there. When we do deep breathe, we are engaging on the vagus nerve. So if you look here, you see what's taking place and what it's capable of. It's hooked to the medulla oblongata again, so we accessing that Akashic records every time we deep breathe. Vagus nerve activity is influenced by the VNS, vagus nerve system. Nutritive components, relaxation techniques help stimulate small and large intestines, the stomach. When it's not proper, then we can have inflammatory GI disorders, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease could happen. Disorders in the mind, psychiatrically speaking, is depression, post-traumatic stress disorders. You know what I'm saying? So by deep breathing again, we relieve that stress somewhat, and we access different energies within the thalamus, amygdala, locus coeruleus. So those are very important spots within the black dot, locus coeruleus, those 12 cranial nerves. So here we have semi-twilight, the union of both lands. So we're connecting the lower and higher self, the light and the darkness, Haru and dark and Set. So Haru and Set are being united. Horizon, the sun rising and setting, the sun setting. Satan and Horizon. The union of the two lands, semi-twilight. So that's the interconnection, both sides, left and right, good and bad, if you will, yin and yang. What does stretching do? Stretching produces tension within the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and components around the joints. And when this takes place, it provides heavy distributions of proprioceptive receptors over their origins and insertions so as to enable the detection of movements and subsequently maintain good coordinations for the need of functional balance. So stretching and utilizing or putting intent towards the muscles, tendons, and ligaments helps one keep balance and functional capabilities throughout life. When the proprioceptive receptions are stimulated, a concerted message is sent up the spinal cord to the midbrain where cortical messages are converged. According to the gate concept theory, the proprioceptive message of the midbrain will block off unwanted messages. So that's the old Qigong right there, you know what I'm saying? Ka. So this right here is the gate theory. Gate control theory, my bad, I said gate concept, but the gate control theory of pain states that non-painful input closes the nerve gates to painful input, which prevents pain sensation from traveling to the central nervous system. So gate control theory of pain describes how non-painful sensations can override and reduce painful sensations. A painful, non-sciatic stimulus stimulates primary efferent fibers and travels to the brain via transmission cells. Increasing activity of the transmission cell results in increased perceived pain. Conversely, decreasing activity of transmission cells reduces perceived pain. So in the gate control theory, a closed gate describes when input to transmission cells is blocked, therefore reducing the sensation of pain. An open gate describes when input to transmission cells are permitted, therefore allowing the sensation of pain. And I know this to be true because a couple of days ago I was doing the walk, so exercising all type of stuff at the park, and I went to change my clothes in the in what they call it the porta john, right? So I go in the porta john, and I'm changing my clothes, and I went back today in the same porta john, and I located this, but it was a beehive in there. So I didn't know it was a beehive in there. Last time I thought it was just one bee, but I opened it up and I went in there this time to really observe and investigate. And I'm not changing this one. I went to the next one. I just wanted to see if it was one in there or it was just one bee. But okay, these yellow jackets too. So last week, I took off my shirt and then I put another one on. And in that process, while I had to put it on, I guess I caught the attention of one of those yellow jackets. So it shot out. It didn't even hesitate. Bam! Hit me on the ear right there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, at first, I'm like, bam! I hit it, and I hit my gauge too. So, and I felt it. I'm like, dang, that was this thing was like this big. You know what I'm saying? It was in my ear. I was like, bam! Knocked it off. I ain't see it on the ground, but the yellow jacket zipping around. I opened the urinal door and let it out. And I didn't even think that it was more in there. I ain't even look. I just went here and continued to get dressed and everything. Like, damn, I hope this shit, I don't know, another one don't get in here and stuff. But at any rate, so at first I'm like, initially I'm like, oh shit, it hurt. Then I said, hold up, take a breath, calm down. So I took a breath. Breathed out my nose. I breathed in my nose, very subtly, silent, deep, long, equal breaths, you know what I'm saying? Pain was gone 15 seconds. I ain't had no more issue with this bee sting. Only time that it did affect me was when I laid down at night and I was going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I laid on, I was like, oh, let me sleep on my right side, place of that. But it was gone, no bump. I asked one of my friends if they saw anything. They were like, nah, I don't feel nothing, I don't see nothing. But so it is truth in the pudding that if you take those deep breaths, you can actually change the format of pain into a non-painful scenario. Right. This is out of Wikipedia too, gate control theory that I'm reading it from, but basically decreasing activity of transmission cells reduces perceived pain. So if I would have been in there like doing the bee dance and everything, because I did that when I was 3, I got that bee dance going on. I was jumping all over the place like that shit hurt. Oh, and my sister called it the bee dance. But if you sit there and you cognitively place the information of fear or pain or whatever into a situation, then that's what's going to be produced. You're going to open up the gate. But if you want to close the gate of pain, take and see the sun rise or a happy place, like as far as transforming negative emotions, that's also partially one of those aspects of the 6 healing sounds. The 6 healing sounds and the transformation of negative emotions to higher emotions, to produce a healthier state of mind, body, and physical by way of spirit. But yeah, so participate with that. Next time something happens, you might hurt your finger or something. Instead of be like, damn, my finger, continue saying, most people are like, oh, shit hurt, oh, it hurt, oh, it hurt, oh, it hurt. That continuously opens the gate of pain. But if you say, you take that breath, you relax, do some Qigongs, or whatever, I just went, woosah, basically, saying? It's just nothing, voila, it's nothing. I was like, nah, ain't nothing right there. So basically, just transforming, transfigurating, or, transmuting the information in head, the psychological dilemma or whatever that issue, by the revibration of the sound of, saying, oh, I'm fearful, it's painful, turning into, I have courage, I don't even feel nothing happening, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That it works. It works. Where were we? Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, right. The power exists in all of us, but very few people really take the time to develop and master it. So this Qigong, the time and effort to skill the breath. I'm gonna go ahead and skip it on down here to the Wu Ching, the five elements, which is a conceptual scheme of traditional Chinese fields, participating with the five movements. I'm gonna allow this to play in the background. This is me up in Central Park, uh, basically getting it in one day. Just a couple of weeks ago, went up there and visited. And of course, whenever I go out of town, I gotta, do me. You know what I'm saying? It's just how that's my dope right there, my dopamine. You know what I mean? That's how I get it. So of course, stretch into it first, and then continue with the form here. This is the 108 postures Yang Su form right here. So I'm gonna go in for a minute as we continue to speak. Um, Again, Xing means planet somewhat, but it's talking about the four movements of five particular planets originally. So the five phases, the five movements, the five uh, agents, the five elements, the five processes, the five steps. In short, are five types of energies that dominate at different times of the year. So we talk about those different movements of time or space time within the seasons. So even from the cosmic cycle, with dealing with the astrological seasons of movement or whatnot into the internal organs, and from there, different things were connected. So we had the five phases, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, that are connected with different organs. Wood being liver, fire, heart, earth, spleen, metal, lungs, and water, kidneys. So it's also known as the mutual generation sequence in order for mutual overcoming. So in the order of mutual overcoming, so you have wood, earth, water, fire, and metal, which basically means wood feeds the fire. Wood feeds fire. Fire creates earth or ashes. So when fire, wood is burnt or whatever, it creates ashes, which is earth. It's the spleen. The earth bears metal, so those ashes turn into minerals or metal. The metal, when melted, collects or it turns into water, and the water nourishes or births wood. All right, so those are different ways of looking at the correspondences as far as the mutual overcomings and the building of different aspects, or we could say generating and overcoming. So the mutual generating and the mutual overcoming. What I just spoke on was the generating. So wood feeding the fire, fire creates the earth then bears metal, the metal collects water, and the water then nourishes wood. So this is the generating or the mother. It engenders. The overcoming is wood parts earth. So wood penetrates the earth, such as roots of trees can prevent soil erosion. Um, Earth dams or muddles the water. So, when earth becomes like muddy, it stops water. Water extinguishes fire, so it puts out the fire. Fire melts the metal, turns it into water basically, but the metal chops wood. So wood parts earth. You know what I'm saying? Metal chops the wood. Then the wood goes back and forms earth again. This cycle is called the controlling cycle as well as the overcoming cycle. So these 5 elements, 5 movements, also relate to the 5 directions: north, east, west, south, and center. So in particular, like in Tai Chi theory, see, I'm moving right there in different directions and keeping my center. So moving north, east, west, and south. North, east, west, south. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to, confuse the way, but to fuse, not to confuse the day, but to fuse the way. You know what I'm saying? Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. So Wu Chi gave rise to Tai Chi, which in turn gave rise to Yin and Yang, the first movement. So in Chinese philosophy, the interaction and continuous changes of Yin and Yang, as well as producing the 8 trigrams of the Bakwa, literally 8 symbols or 8 diagrams, is what is used in Tao's cosmology to eventually come about to the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, or the I Ching, the Book of Changes. So this produced the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, which in turn are considered to be responsible for the formation of the 10,000 mirads of all the matter in the world. It's fire, water, wood, metal, and earth. And so that cross life, you know what I'm saying? 5 movements, life. So again, metal gives birth to water gives birth to wood gives birth to fire, and fire gives birth to earth. Earth gives birth to metal destroys wood, cuts it. Wood destroys earth, it dams it. Earth destroys water, it muddles it or muddies it. Water destroys fire, it extinguishes it. And fire destroys metal, it burns it, it melts it down. So the 5 elements of Chinese medicine, the 5 elements also called Wuxing, represent the processes that are fundamental to the cycles of nature and therefore correspond to the human body. The term Xing means the which is heated, liquefies, and produces water vapor. Water generated then nourishes the trees or wood. The 5 elements, their characteristics and their interrelationships with the body can be defined as, and these are notes from my Sifu, my teacher, instructor. Give thanks to Patrick Fanes. He handed this down to me a few years ago, and I've been practicing it since. You know what I'm saying? About like 6 years ago. Keeping it on a day-to-day, attempting to, as far as in particular in my exchange of energy through the natural cycles of life pertaining to the 5 movements, 5 phases. So fire, hot, ascending, light, and energy as embodied in the traditional Chinese medicine functions of the heart, yin, and small intestines, yang. The fire element also affects the complementary organ process of the pericardium and the triple warmer, which is representative of the upper, lower, and middle parts of the body, as well as the circulation of fluids in these areas. Joy or overindulgence in joy is the emotion which creates imbalance within this element. You've heard of people win the lottery, they've been happy all their life, joking, very happy person always, you know what I'm saying? They win the lottery or something real big happening all the time, but don't be depressed and keeping your face down all the time either. It's a balance. Fire is also Shin. Now, Shin, mind consciousness, is housed by fire, which also governs the blood and blood vessels. So fire is linked with sensitivity, relationship to oneself and towards others. The triple heater channel or meridian of the fire element distributes original chi, or chi that we are born with, and its energy radiates in all directions. The sense organ of the fire element is the tongue. All right, so watch what you say, watch what you do. But if you, again, going back to what happened August 3rd, August is Leo, astrologically, and Leo is a fire sign. All right, so but what is fire? Sun energy as well, and what are we all interconnected to? That portal. So if the individual to do itself knows the math and the frequency and vibration that can operate within that to manifest their own type of said reality and affect control, then it can be done so by way of governing the blood and blood vessels through Shin or mind or consciousness or spirit, basically. Our Shin is housed by fire, again. All right, so the blood and blood vessels. The Shin is where it's in the blood, it's moving, you know what I mean? Shin is spirit moving in the blood, getting into the cells, feeding the cells properly. But if someone can access that information or can deliberately manipulate that information or that energy by way of sound and vibration, you know what I'm saying? The fire element is the tongue. The tongue is connected to the heart, you know what I'm saying, by way of the precardium. But when someone can manipulate that by what we're hearing and stuff, and we repeating it, then we telling ourselves whatever we're hearing, then it can distribute different type of information that's on the lower base and cause dilemmas or issues or basically obstructions or blockages. You know what I'm saying? All right. So earth, the next element, productive fertile growth. The earth element relates to the stomach and the spleen. The stomach begins the process of digestive breakdown while the spleen transforms and transports the energy from food and drink throughout the body. Pensiveness is the emotion which creates imbalance within this element. Pensiveness is overthinking. So when we overthink, the spleen and stomach won't digest. Like if I'm not thinking about my food while I'm eating, I'm talking on the phone or I'm listening to some crazy music or watching a TV show, then it's going to cause, because that's multitasking. We need to be processing this food, physically, you know what I'm saying, through the anatomical structures of the organ system, or the stomach and the large intestine, small intestine. All right, so Princeton is overthinking. Earth, very central part of the body, such as the waist, fall under the influence of this pivotal element. Its functions including transforming. It houses another aspect of the mind. It houses another aspect of the mind, the yi, focus and intellect. Imbalances here can lead to or be caused by worry, which knots the chi. Earth controls the raising and descending of chi, sinking in connection with the earth. It also dominates the muscles in the limbs, providing nourishment to the body, sense organ, the mouth. So watch what you say. Again, connected to the mouth, earth and fire, fire and earth. But right here it's talking about the yi, focus and intellect. So when we overthinking, it can cause worry, and that can create knots in the chi or blockages again. So that the earth, the spleen, we got all these issues going on with diabetes. Spleen is also right there with pancreas, you know what I'm saying, where we produce the enzymes to break down certain things in the body, but also glucose, you know what I'm saying, where glucose is converted into what is it? Oh boy, dang. Here we go. I ain't got diabetes, but my grandma do, and I should know what this word is. Pancreas produces that hormone that we need for somebody help me. It just slipped my mind. Yes, indeed. Sugar. It'll come to me in a second. Good things, though. Good things, Cypher. All right, but the kidneys or water, very important. Again, we are 80% water, so wet, descending, flowing, different aspects of water. The water element represents the urinary bladder and the kidney. The bladder receives, stores, and excretes urine. Water metabolism dissipates fluids throughout the body, moistening it, then accumulating in the kidneys. The kidneys also store the essence and serve as the root of yin and yang for the entire body. Fear and paranoia are the emotions which create imbalance within this element. Fear and paranoia are the emotions which create imbalance within this element. Kidneys, very important again. What does the kidneys do? The bladder receives, stores, and excretes urine. Water metabolism dissipates fluids throughout the body, moistening the body, then accumulating in the kidneys. The kidneys also store the essence and serve as the root of yin and yang. Just like a great river, water has enormous power combined with tremendous softness. Be like water, right? Water prevails without doing, just by being itself. Water houses the will. The emotion associated with this element is courage and conversely fear. If this element is weak, the bones are the related tissue. Weakness in this element can cause lower back pain and sore knees, controls reception of chi, memory, and concentration. Energy flows up the water channels in the legs and back, bladder, kidney from your root in the earth of the bubbling spring point that's in the center of your foot. People may lose control of the bladder in times of great fear as the chi suddenly descends. Sense organs is the ears. So watch what we're listening to. Hearing is believing. We believe a lot of fear-based things, and that in turn affects our lower back and causes sore knees. A lot of us walking around wondering why our back is aching, but we're watching a lot of TV or movies and listening to music, all based on fear, or false experiences appearing real, illusions. Face everything and relax. Facing everything and relax means knowing, it's half the battle, knowing what the issue is, and then relaxing by participating and actually asserting oneself by activating through certain applications. Not just theorizing and by reading about it and then, but actually participate with some of this, something on a day to day, finding in yourself to really go out and do these activities. Don't just, watch somebody do it or listen to somebody talking about doing it. Participate with it. All right, so that was water. Now metal, as conductor, this element includes the lungs, and the large intestines, which is responsible for receiving and discharging waste. Sadness or grieving is the emotion which creates imbalance within this element. Sadness or grieving is the emotion which creates imbalance within this element. This element governs the exterior defense boundaries such as skin, taking in and letting go. It governs chi and controls breathing. The metal houses the po, the animal nature. The sense organ is the nose. Okay, so po is the animal nature, the physical nature, or the animalistic side of the reptilian brain. But this air, these elementals, metal, which moves vital energy throughout the body. It is also responsible for receiving and discharging waste. The skin is the largest organ on the body that discharges waste, detoxing, taking in and letting go. Sadness or grieving is the negative element of imbalance. Happiness is what is converted. It helps convert those that sadness or grief. When one holds on to sadness or grief within that lung energy, it can cause issues such as breathing problems, asthma, bronchitis, and lead up to lung cancer or breast cancer. Wood, strong rooted. The wood element represents the liver and the gallbladder. The liver stores blood and regulates the smooth flow of chi. The gallbladder is responsible for storing and excreting bile. Anger is the emotion that creates imbalance within the liver, while indecisiveness is relative to the gallbladder. Anger, when somebody getting angry, it goes to the liver, go black, can't remember nothing. But the positive attribute is acceptance, hugging the tree, hugging the wood, or whatever the tree. The 5 elements are a fundamental concept which impacts many areas of our life. In time, one can develop an intuitive understanding of these interactions and these elements by way of interacting with these elements. But again, wood has flexibility and it controls judgment and strategy. The element it houses the elemental aspect of the ethereal soul. Again, we're talking about the liver, which gives direction in life, blood energy. Again, you know what I'm saying? The ethereal soul, one step up above the physical. The emotion of wood is anger. In people with long-term anger, you may see two vertical furrows between their eyebrows. You know, they walking around with that little divot right there in the eyebrow. Wood controls the sinews, the ligaments, and tendons, and ensures the free flow of chi. Sense organ is the eyes. Seeing is knowing. You know what I'm saying? And if we're indecisive about what we know, it could cause issues. The gallbladder is connected to the liver. You know, the gallbladder produces the bile that breaks down the fat, carbohydrates, and proteins and everything. But that gallbladder, when indecisiveness takes place because things we know we're not sure about and we can't make the right decisions, then it can affect the processing of that bile as well as processing those energies within that liver, converting it to energy for the body to use purposefully. So that right there is a diagram of homeostasis within the activity of the five movements, or the five phases. Wood again is the liver, fire is the heart, earth is stomach, spleen, air, lungs, kidneys, water. And you see how you're building deficiencies and controlling excess. And really, look at that. We can study it and pause on it for a second. It's basically, I just spoke on a lot of that info. Now we're going to get into the actual Qigong of the 6 healing sounds. Six healing breaths and 6 healing sounds. The sounds are Ha for heart, that's the fire energy. And this is going to be related to the dragon emerges from the sea, that's the first movement. The dragon's roar is the first movement. But that's Ha for heart, fire. All right, that's fire is the element. Another sound is Hu, that's spleen. That's the earth element. That's for dragon balances heaven and earth. And then Shu, that's the liver. Shu. So Ha, Hu, like a owl. Then Shu, liver. The dragon coils in. S is the lung sound. That's the metal dragon. That's the dragon's roar. Similar to a serpent. So the dragon's roar. Shui. That's the kidneys, the water. Shui, like feng shui. Shui. That's dragon produces elixir. And sh, or she, but sh, without the E is silent. That's the triple warmer. That's dragon expels toxins. So that's the 6 healing sounds right there. So we're going to have the dragon's roar, and then from the dragon's roar, we're going to the dragon emerges from the sea. That's the lung energy. Then we go that's the heart energy. Then we go dragon balances heaven and earth. That's the spleen. And then we go from the spleen, the dragon balances the heaven and earth to dragon coils in. That's the lungs with the sound. I mean the liver with the shu sound. Dragon produces elixir. That's the kidneys. That's the shui sound. And dragon expels toxins. And that is the last one. Dragon expels toxins. Alright, so the first one, dragon emerges from the sea. That's to purify the lungs. So brief breakdown. So when the breaths are done, we're gonna hold up. Let me read this for you. I forgot this part right here. 6 healing sound breaths, movements to generate chi. These exercises will work with three main systems of your body: the lymphatic systems, the circulatory system, and the meridian system. Okay. Alright. Qigong means to work the breath or to scale the breath again. The breath is a bioelectromagnetic life force energy that fills the entire universe and is in all living beings as well. As you flow through the movements, you will see how this energy. Hold up. As you flow through these exercises, you will see how this energy. And I did that. I did that right there. My bad. Is connected and flows through you. So after exercises, do not take a bath or drink cold water. Before beginning exercises, loosen up all the ligaments, tendons, and muscles in the body with form of stretches. Head rolls 3 times each direction, very subtly and relaxed. Shoulder rolls 3 times forwards, 3 times back in a very relaxed manner. And knee rotations and bend forward and place hands on knees. Knee rotations by bending forward and placing hands on knees as you rotate the knees, ankles, hips simultaneously. All right, so this set of Qigong utilizes the 6 healing sounds and breaths to help vitalize the 5 life support organs: the heart, spleen, liver, lungs, kidneys, as well as the triple warmer. These sounds are used in harmony with the breath and special movements to stop illness and prevent and cure disease within the organs. So when the breaths are done, concentrate on the organ associated with the sound. As you make the movement, you utter the sound in a drawn-out whisper. Each sound can be repeated 9, 18, 36 times on the left and right sides of the body. After each sound, drop your hands to the sides, inhale and exhale 3 times through the nose while moving arms up and down, hands going towards the armpits and then back down on each exhalation. Afterward, roll the shoulders to release any tension. This is called Ping Chi, or harmonizing the breath. Be sure to do the breaths in a well-ventilated area or next to an open window. Morning is always the best time to practice internal breath work, but any time is good. Take the opportunity. When complete, walk around a few minutes to allow the energy to circulate in the body. Okay? So we're going to get into it without further ado. When we opening it, we're going to open it. Let me get that water out of that energy movement picture there. So I'm going to go back and forth. That's the opening. I'm going to stand up and try to get in here where I fit in, if possible. Let's see here. What's it? Much better. Yes, much better. Let's see here. All right, so the opening. The opening is basically bring your hands up, breathe down. So you breathe in through the nostrils, and then breathe out. As you can see, this is bringing them up, then go into prayer hands. All right. But simultaneously, if we was closed, so we open up. Then we prepare for the dragon's roar. Dragon's roar, your hands gonna be out, stuff like that. We're gonna have you straight. Your posture's gonna be straight as much, you know what I'm saying? Bending 1 inch to 2. 1 inch is not over 2 inches into the knees. So 1 inch, 1.5 inches right in there. Knees are gonna be aligned with your ankles, but not over your toes. Not bending down, you know, where you're going like that. It causes problems in your knees, ankles, and stuff. You want to be able to, you're gonna have tension going down, so it's heavy on the bottom, light on the top, but you want the top to be as relaxed as possible. Shoulders drop, elbows drop, and roll back. Hands gonna be sort of like right here. Well, we're gonna be right here first and then go into, so we're not really, but that's the correct posture within Wu Chi. You know what I'm saying? So standing, have eggs under the armpits, so it ain't gonna be closed off like that. It could be eggs under the armpits, marbles between the fingers, so the fingers will be open yet relaxed. You know what I'm saying? Like, see my knees, so my knees ain't going in like that. They ain't out that too far. It's gonna be directly over my ankles, but not over the toes. Small the back, the pelvis region is going to slightly tilt forward. We're going to have the head is going to be, imagine a string is attached to the top of the head, and the chin is slightly tucked, but not too far this way and not going that way. So we're going to be forming a natural C with the head and the tailbone, or the pelvis. So the tailbone is going to be going forward, the head is going to be tucked just a touch, and forming the C. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that it's that cycle from heaven to earth, continues flow, rotation. All right, so going into the actual dragon's roar. So the dragon's roar starts here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe in. All right, we open, relax, form dragon's call. And when you form it, you're gonna breathe in. You're gonna sink down into a lower position as deep as you possibly can. You're gonna be in Wu Chi. All right. Well, basically, you're gonna be in a wide stance. You're not gonna be in a horse stance all the way out right here. You're gonna be in a medium horse stance right here. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you want to go into a deeper wide horse stance, you can do so. Then when you breathe in, you tuck in your arms. So we're right here, here. Breathe in. Go into the side where your lungs are. Imagine you breathe in negative energy, well, positive energy, and then breathe out negative energy. Do that 9, 10, 9, 18. The color of the, remember the color of the lung energy is, lung energy is white, metal. So that's the dragon's war. Standing in the neutral position, inhale through the nose, step out to Wu Chi. Go. Inhale in heaven through the nose. While visualizing the air as blue mist filling the lungs, raising arms straight up in front of you until your wrists are shoulders height and the palms are pointing forward with the fingers clenched into dragon's claw. Hold your breath, then draw your hands back, bringing the elbows towards the ribs while simultaneously holding your breath and squatting down. Slowly stand up and push your hands out in front of you, once again making the lung sound on the exhalation and pressing out the old breath. Repeat this 3 times, then perform Ping Chi. Scrape, clear, wash 3 times, then release. All locks and swallow the heavenly dew. Alright, so go over Ping Chi with you. We're just going to do this once, Ping Chi once. My bad. That's the exhalation. We just did that though, so make sure we got it. Alright, so Ping Chi, basically be still out here, right here like this. Just lean forward, hands gonna go under the armpit. You can do that 3 times, 9 times, however you feel. But it's just you releasing toxins as well. We're gonna go over that. That's the last one. Dragon releases toxins. Parts of it. All right. So that's Ping Chi, harmonizing the breath. All right. So dragon emerges from the sea. Dragon emerges from the sea is to purify the heart. Go over it with you right here, real quick. So basically, what we're gonna do is same thing. We're gonna breathe in. It's right here. Open up. You can go to a wider stance if you wish. Then we're gonna breathe in here. About 4 minutes. But you can come here right here. Like this. Breathe in. Form fist. Simultaneously come down. With the fist. Then breathe out. Come back down. Breathe in. Imagining the color red. And this is the heart energy. So it's 5. Breathe in again. Making the fist come down. Remember, try to keep the back as straight as possible when you do sink down. Alright. So that's dragon emerges from the sea. Again, so you're breathing in through the nostrils, each one. On the inhalation, you go and imagine the energy going to the heart, and then when you execute the breath, or remember to know that you are eliminating carbon dioxide, lactic acid, impurities within the body. So basically, that's what it looks like right there. You form the fist, come down, then breathe back out. Then we come up. Open up the hands. All right, the next movement is dragon balances heaven and earth, pertaining to the spleen. All right, this purifies the spleen. Dragon balances heaven and earth. Pull this up. Go from here. So we start from that neutral position again. Uchi. And open up. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna basically you're just gonna turn your body by breathing in. Breathe in through the nostrils. And then while we inhale, we're gonna raise. We inhale, we're in heaven. And then we're gonna slowly raise our right hand over our left. Bring the left palm down facing the earth. And then we're gonna breathe out. Keep them rounded, keep the elbows rounded, don't lock them out. You know what I'm saying? That'll block the energy. You wanna keep it bent slightly. Don't bend it so much that you're feeling force, intent over force. So be relaxed here. All right, so the left hand is pressing towards the earth. The right hand is pressing towards the heavens. Palm up. Palm down on the left hand, palm up on the right hand. Exhale by turning your torso. So it's here, again, start. Exhale, breathe in here. And then simultaneously exhale while you turn your torso. All right, so we went into the spleen region. Turn to the left. The spleen sound is who. So again, we're gonna open. Breathe in again. Breathe in once again. Do it once again. Breathe in. Then come back to center. What I normally do from here, I go compare it to the other side. Breathe in again. Breathe in. And then after 3, 6, 9, come back to center. Relax. Then hang chi. I usually do this more than 3 times, I'm gonna be honest. Get it all out, get the toxins on out of there. I don't normally do that either. I close, then relax. I never just jump out back into it. I always try to keep a mindful state within that. I still got my workout clothes on. I'm gonna refine myself a little bit. That's the last one. And then from there, hands come back down, but this is the next one. Dragon cores in, is what we're about to do. Alright, so that was dragon balances heaven and earth pertaining to the spleen. Now we go into dragon coils inward. Alright, so this is to purify the liver, to massage and purify the liver. The sound is shoe. Like shoe, get out of here, or my shoes. Gotta tie my shoes. This is massage and purify the liver. This is very similar to dragon emerges from the sea with the heart energy. Only difference is we won't be forming a fist like to talk about. We will. It's just this way. We'll be doing something different. We'll massage the liver, and then we'll come back up, releasing energy out of the kidney region by way of the sound shoe. So again, we're going to stand in the neutral position of Buchi. That's how it starts out right there. Comes down to the knees with the elbow. Then we're going to rotate the elbow around in the liver region 3 times, and then we release the energy up. Grab, collect energy again, form a fist, come down again. We're going to rotate the right elbow into the liver region 3 times, counterclockwise. Then come up with the sound. Once again. Then exhale. Breathe it in, form a fist. Rotate right elbow inside of the liver region. Breathe out. Close, bringing the left foot in, 45-degree angles, breathe out. Then, breathe back in, breathe out again, energy. So you're breathing in kind of rapid, through the nose, in and out the nose. So that dragon coils in, purifying the liver. Dragon produces elixir. This is the kidneys. So you're strengthening and purifying the kidneys. This one is kind of elongated, but we'll get through it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Yeah. All of them, I see the question, how many times? Get thanks. 9, 18, 27. I mean, it's really up to you. It ain't nothing etched in stone, but you want to get something out of it. So the more repetitions, of course, just like with any exercise or exercise, it's very much more dependent on the consistency of how many you're doing and how much you're doing as far as the weight. Okay, thanks for that question, Cypher Terrestrial. All right, so this one is again to strengthen the kidneys and purify the kidneys as well. Dragon produces elixir. So we start from the neutral position again of Wuchi, or the neutral position going into Wuchi. So we're here. Wuchi means the nothing, the void. You can start like that, or you can go to here. On this one, what we're going to do is, when we inhale, bringing our arms overhead in circle pattern, then we form the prayer hands. Then we exhale as the hands come down. Now we're going to clap our hands together and rub the palms together very briskly. So we go like, you know what I'm saying, rub the palms together while still holding the breath. Place your fist over the abdomen region, like that, on each side of the navel and where the kidney area is in the backside. Simultaneously visualize the kidneys expanding with the chi energy while you're touching it. Now, do 9 exhalations very rapidly while pushing the toxins out of the body. So I call it a gunslinger. So you're going to be saying shui while doing this. Opening your fist, then pushing out the toxins out of the kidney region on each exhalation. So it's like this. So go shui, shui, shui while pushing. Shui, 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 shui. That's why I call it a gunslinger. Shui, shui, shui. From right here. So you got kidneys right there. Right here is the abdomen, lower abdomen. So the same area. You're just pushing it out. Shui, 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 shui. With that energy that you built up from clapping your hands, rubbing it. Again, this is water energy, so water freezes up on us sometimes and blocks, you know what I'm saying? If it get too cold, we got too much fear going on. So smacking the hand, getting that blood in the hands warm, warming it up, letting that water bubble and go down to the bubbling springs and circulate through the body properly. Coming back up, you know what I mean? Clean. So after that, you do it 9 times, 18 times, however many times you feel you're going this way. You come back up right here, the prayer hands. Clap the hands again. Breathe in. Rub the hands briskly. Now we're going to go to the lower back on the kidney region right here. Put your hands like this. Doing the same thing, but we're going from the front to the back. And we do shui, 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 shui. Do that 9 times, 18, you know what I'm saying? To get a good inner side, you know what I'm saying? Get that the energy going, clean out, you know what I'm saying? As well as stimulate and form that urine that's needed to help evacuate some of those toxins out the body. And after you've done that, back to pink sheet. Then close. Relax. Clear all locks and swallow. So that basically means you got your tongue locked, you got your chin locked, you got your stomach locked, you got your root locks going on. So the root lock is the perineum, or that soft spot in between the evacuation canal and the procreation vessel, right? So you're pulling up on that very gently on the inhalation. And then on exhalation, you're letting it go. But on that one, after the pinch, you come back into 45-degree angle, neutral position. We're going to release all those locks. So the stomach lock. Stomach lock is when we're breathing in through the nose, you know, making the abdomen large like a beach ball, and breathe out, and the abdomen goes towards the spine as close as possible. So that's the stomach lock. The chin lock is that what we was talking about, you know, strings attached to the top of the head. So you're forming that C, slightly tucked. Tongue lock, the tongue's at the roof of the mouth behind the teeth. All right, so those locks are going to be all accessed throughout the Qigong, meditation, Tai Chi, or whatever. But when you go into this part right here and you relax, release all the locks, and swallow the heavenly dew, or that saliva. Got a lot of good stuff in there. All right, so you do that 3 times, shui. Oh, you're going to be saying shui, remember, shui, shui, shui. Water, you know what I mean? So dragon expels toxins is next. And this is turned to the triple warmer. The sound is sh. Go right into it. it helps expel toxins, recharge the entire body, refresh, vibrant energy. So this can be done morning, noon, night. All of these can be done at any time of the day. On the inhalation or the inhaling, visualize that you are drawing in the purest air possible. You know what I'm saying? The gene, the air and food. You know what I'm saying? Good water, the essence. You know what I'm saying? That's how our life, or whatever our cellular regeneration. Remember, we live or die from the cellular point of view. So getting that point of view up here in the head properly first. So imagining or imaging, visualizing, knowing that you're putting in that clean, pure air. You know what I'm saying? So good place to be is, of course, outside in nature with the dew early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? That mist out there, you know, that's creating negative ions, or crack a window if you're at work or at the house or something going on that you can't get out, watching your seed or something like that. You know, get things. But you know what I'm saying? Just be somewhere where it's well ventilated and you can get that air in, that pure air as possible. The humidifier, stuff like that. Ionizer in the house, you know what I'm saying? It's good stuff. So with this, again, this is to form the elixir. Well, actually, this expels toxins. The last one was dragon produces elixir. That's to purify and strengthen the kidneys. This is dragon expels toxins. All right, so start from your neutral position and step out into Wu Chi again. So we start from here, 45-degree angles with our feet towards the corners of the wall. So you got your wall in front of you, the 45-degree angles to each corner. Relax into your Wu Chi or into your neutral position. Step out to Wu Chi. Remember, stay soft in the knees. You know, soft knees. All right, so we start right here. You're going to breathe in. After that breathing, you're getting the exhalation there. We're going to breathe in again here. You're going to squat down very rapidly, like that. And then while extending your arms out from the body with the hands similar to ping chi going slightly behind you, exhaling on the stale air of the mouth, simultaneously making the triple woman sound shook. And very rapidly bring the hands back towards the chest and stand up while inhaling and going back to the hug and tree position. So we go from here, breathe out, go to hug the tree, and then we're just going to go just like a ping chi. So the ping chi is just like this, but we're going to do it like this instead. Ping chi is more like this. So this affects the triple womb. Pineal gland, thymus gland, prostate, ovaries, basically, you know what I'm saying? The pituitary, pineal gland region, the thymus gland, heart, solar plexus region, lungs as well, and the prostate or ovaries and the testicle region of the lower part. So this is how it's affected. Get in here, hug the tree. All right. So that's the 6 healing sounds. So it's one, dragon's roar. So that's the lungs. All right. Then the dragon emerges from the sea. That's the heart. Then dragon balances earth and heaven. That's the spleen. So you open up. Breathe in again here. Then it's come back. All right, so dragon balances earth and heaven. And then dragon produces elixir. Or is it? What's before that? See. Oh yeah. Before that is dragging cords inward. Word. Dragging cords inward. That's to massage the liver. Dragging cords inward. Just like the heart. Dragon emerges from the sea, but rotate it 3 times. Then you go, shoot. All right, dragon produces elixir. Sweat, sweat, sweat. Yeah. Go back in. Go around the back to the kidney region. Sweat, sweat, sweat. And then from there, for that, dragon releases toxins. All right, so that's shut, 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 shut. Very rapidly, going from there, shut, 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 like that. Then when we're completely done, come in. We're right here, come back in, close. Then it's the marriage of the sun and the moon. Sun and the moon. Just stand here for a minute, settle your energy. Then release, relax. You can walk around and lift your legs up as high as you can, you know what I'm saying? Bring it to your chest. You can put your hands up like this and breathe out, get the heart energy back right. Breathe out as you go down very slowly. And you can actually do both of them at the same time. Bring the energy back up from both ends so they sit back right here in the heart. This is where it starts, from the heart, from the tippy. Alright. So get things, that's the whole deal right there with the 5 movements and the 6 healing sounds to help generate or regenerate, keep you healthy, cure, prevent, good exercise, good exercise too. You can do it hard where you actually flexing your muscles like, you know what I'm saying? Relaxation, tension type thing. So you flexing the muscles in, relax. Same thing. All right. So, not to get too far going in, I'm about to go prepare for this work thing too. Refine, get some clothes washed, pack up, meditate again, probably. I don't know, I might wait until later on before rest. But, meditate on what we just went over and everything, And just, have fun with it. Don't make it a problem. Just have fun with it. If there are any other questions, let me know and get things straight principle. Yeah. Shows your support. Oh, and a moment of silence for Dr. Eileen's fam and everything is well, you know what I'm saying? His mother transitioned a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it on this, but get thanks and my heart goes out to the family, to my brothers and sisters. And most definitely, moment of silence, real quick, like. All right, get thanks. All right. Okay. I'm just looking at some of these questions or comments. Hopefully, I see it was one comment out there by are there a chance to go with where's the question? Yeah, every pasta had a chant. Lungs, hey or ha, heart, shoe, spleen, no shoe, liver, who, spleen, um, shuwei, kidneys, and triple warmer. And again, do it how you feel too. You can utilize these sounds all day, every day, not just with these movements, but whenever you feel like you want to just say that. You know what I'm saying? Just go into a meditation, just going which way, and relate to the, as far as correlation, go into the kidney region, like shui, breathing in, and the positive attribute again is courage. So imagine courage, see the color of black, as far as the water aspect of the element, and then just go in there, or blue, black or blue water. And the higher emotion is courage, and just breathe into that area of courage. Sway, and like that's also with the heart, like fire, red. Um, the higher attribute is love, so breathe into the heart, love. The lungs, higher attribute is happiness, so breathe in the color white. The element is metal, so breathe in color white to the lungs. You think happiness. Go into the liver, the color is green. The element is wood, and the higher attribute or higher emotion is acceptance. So breathe in acceptance to the liver. Then breathe out the sound. What is it? Shu. You know what I'm saying? So shu and ha for the heart. Ha with those different visualizations and thoughts, and then for the lungs. Shu for the liver. Shui for the kidneys, color black. The elements water. Then Hu for the spleen, the color is yellow, the elements earth. The higher emotion is peace, and patience, or wisdom as well, but patience, because pensiveness means overthinking, so we're not being patient with ourselves. So being patient, color yellow, and then just breathe in, see the color yellow, get the higher emotion of patience, and breathe out the sound of Hu. All right. Exercise is good for stiff joints. Breathing is good exercise. Deep breathing or exercise, but something that I found that's good for stiff joints. Of course, vitamin D3 would be a good one. MSM, I mean, as far as mineral vitamins, something like that. MSM, glucosamine. It's good for stiff joints. Glucosamine, MSM, vitamin D3, calcium, magnesium, very vital elements for as we growing out here in these elements, whatever's going on out there. But we were just talking about it. Good one is to start out like this, so you right here, just very slowly bring up your foot, if you can see it. All right. And you just rotate. If you can't do it with 3, come back down, that's what's up. If you're gonna rotate that ankle, this brings that synovial fluid in the ankle, rotate it the opposite direction, bring it back down, then you go into your knee joint. Rotate it. I taught this to Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. All right, so rotate it 3 times if you can, just 3. Or if you can do it only once and keep balance, what I'm saying? But rotate that knee, the whole knee. You want to get that whole knee in there, though. You know what I'm saying? Not going like this with the hip and the knee, it's the knee right here. Just rotate it the opposite direction. Then we go to the hip. So breathe in,
putting all your weight onto the opposite leg each time. So you can put your weight onto your right leg. You can start with your left leg, lift up to the hip. You're gonna rotate it. If you can't lift it that high, you know, it's right in here. But you do it 3, 4, 5, 6, how many times you can. Rotate it the opposite direction. And then you come back and you find your center. Do it on the opposite side, same way. So you're shifting your weight to that side, rotate, rotate, then you rotate the knee, then you rotate the hip. I'm going through it kind of fast. I'm usually gonna go this fast. But then you go in the opposite direction. Alright, so then from there you come down, you place your hands on your knees, you rotate from your ankles, knees, hips, all the way up to your shoulders. So everything's gonna be engaged. You rotate them, then you go the opposite direction. Then from there you open up, look over the sun, look over the shoulder at the moon, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, rotate the hips, breathe out. Do that 3, 6 times, then go the opposite direction, breathe in. Do it where you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't go too far like you popping your back or something. Breathe in here, you can breathe out. Then rotate your ligaments, tendons, and muscles in your wrist. You know what I'm saying? Basically start with the wrist, breathing in, breathing out. This is normal breathing right here. You ain't gotta really exhale, inhale, and stretching. This would be breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, that's for the hips. This one is, you know what I'm saying, when you're right here, it's normal breathing, there ain't no breathing in, breathing out. This one, looking over the shoulder at the moon, that's breathing in. You breathe in here, you breathe out when you extend it to the stretch. Alright, so rotate the wrist forward, rotate the wrist back, rotate the elbows. Again, this is putting that fluid in there, synovial fluid, strengthening the ligaments, tendons, the connecting pieces of those sinews, whatnot, the fascia, it's called fascia. Then rotate the elbow, the shoulders. And when we finish, we're gonna go down very slowly, breathing out. So breathe in. After that last one, we're going forward, breathe in, and then breathe out. Again, persistency and consistency. That's the key. Being persistent and being consistent in your practice. So day to day, you know what I mean? Basically, you don't want to just do it one day and think it's going to be some type of magic bean effect where you can climb the beanstalk. You know, you got to let their energy work up the spine properly, jacking the beanstalk, you know what I'm saying, and get to the Godhead, the giant, you know what I'm saying, wake that giant up. But it's going to take some time, you know, and ain't just going to be no magic bean thrown in the ground and bam, it grow, you know what I'm saying, overnight. It's going to take a little time and effort, Qigong. I hope that gave you a little insight on that. You know what I mean? And, you know, keep it going in that perspective, you know what I'm saying? All right. My bad. Somebody messaged you something to somebody. Yes, indeed. The Depth 7 working on it. It's WIP, right? Work in progress. Not like that, but yeah. Getting it together is you know, I practice it at the spot. All right, and it's working out. You know what I'm saying? Still getting some kinks out of it, but it's pretty cool shit. That divine breath, divine cycle. You know what I'm saying? It's called the infinite breath, but it's like, you know, yeah, I'm still getting it in. Basically, it's just like you breathe in through the nostrils in meditation, then you breathe out the infinite breath without really exhaling or releasing that in exhalation where the stomach goes towards the spine. Just breathe in again while the stomach is flat towards the spine.
and then breathe out as you go forward again. All right. But just continuously, you know what I'm saying? Breathing in, then breathing out. So you breathe in. Stomach is large like beach ball. Breathe out. Stomach goes towards the spine as close as possible. While the stomach is still towards the spine, breathe in again. And then breathe out. Allowing the stomach to go back outward. Relax for about 3 seconds to breathe in. Continuing with another cycle. All right. I'll go over that again one day. Today, we've been on it for a little minute. In it to win it, though. But we're going to go ahead and part ways physically for a brief moment. You know, I know it's be like far and it's be a little time in between the sessions that I come through with, but life goes on, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I do show back up, because I don't know, it's on the calendar like that. It is, but it ain't. I try to get it every Tuesday that I get off for work, the following Tuesday. I get off on Wednesday, so that following Tuesday I try to get it in. But sometimes other things be coming through, you know what I mean? And it works out though, where everything happens in the right time and the right purpose. You know, again, the reason ain't the purpose is not the reason. But we're gonna go ahead and get it out of here with the 5 movements. You know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, but good thanks. I appreciate you guys being attentive and being observant. Good questions. I'll go back through them if I didn't address every question and every issue. I'll try to address those issues and questions and comment on the side over there. Appreciate you guys. Love you. You know, love your whole life, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? So be peace, be prosperous, be protected, and continue to walk that path to good health. That's spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health. All right? Peace.
Expect nothing. You know, when highs turn to lows and lows turn to highs. Black water. Black action once again. Giving black. Yeah, giving black. A little migration. Minus the stagnation. Elevation. The power of a melanation, eliminating imposters, block the radar, chart the stars, cosmic dust, moves rust from eroding cars. I'm Logan, sitting in Lotus at the dojo with Shogun, loading bars and hookahs. Some claim the baller or the shooter, top shotter, name caller. I'm the bell ringer, missing Dale singer, screech saved by the hell bringer. A loose pin in my head, cause my dread to fall out. No fear of rules and regulations, laws that have flaws with claws to crawl out. The beast of the belly, flaming heat, torching streets, got me reaching for the Cali, about to go all out. Yeah, my highs turn to lows, my lows turn to highs, my lows.
Yeah, ATD, above the dome, trap of freedom, it's family, tradition, heritage, the missing links, spiritual miracles, the awakenings, the walking sphinx. It's time to eat, food for thought, it's the meta magician.
Holy rainwater flows off my altar, channel through the seasons, elevate the reasons. What's the purpose of life? To the living, death to the conscious. At the end of days, clash of the titans, zombies running rampant, Christ in the pamper, looking for a lamp, revving at the church, plugging in the amp, rock of the ages, son of the undead, vamping, immortal rage. I bleed red ink on the page, words and truth, no signature. Here's the blur from invisible literature, sitting at the dock of the bay with Otis, having rituals. Turn the lights off, it can get real quick, sir. Melting pot mix, I'm in search for a fix. Walking backwards, looking forwards, patiently waiting. Don't ignore it, holding two swords like peace signs aimed at your board.
You want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom?
Darkness to light, walk into flight, hawk eyesight, interdimensional terabytes, fuel for the journey. Some lay a fuel for the gurney, colored in the book of law, no need for attorneys. I turn the page, feel the script like a doctor coming out the cage. I'm the lion, fed grain, sticks and stones, no pain. A worker's only worth his gain, attempting to keep my inner sane with lifestyle changes, higher than mountain plains. 7 thoughts, 7 vaults, no faults, who's to blame? It ain't the same, they take your names, I feel the sun. It ain't no fun if the homie can't have none. I see you run like Hussein lightning. It seems frightening, exciting, I go with streaming lightning. I'm the Nickelodeon at night.
Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom?
Yeah, time space is obsolete. Locate the unlocal, way above yet so below. The permanency of non-movement, ATD, above the dome, trap of freedom. It's Blackwater, the metal magician. Mad scientist on the track. Peace.